In this video, we're going to compare buying versus renting a one-bedroom condo in downtown Toronto. And we're going to look at three things. Number one, what are the upfront costs? Number two, what are the ongoing monthly costs? And number three, what would your financial position be at the end of 5 years? My name is Jason Bondy-Sawyer from the Bondy-Sawyer real estate team here in the city of Toronto. If you're looking to make a real estate move and you want to connect with an experienced professional that can help you create an action plan for making that move, you can book a call with me using that first link down in the description. To start, I took a look at all condo sales in April 2024 with the following criteria. Located in Treb's CO1 municipality, so that goes as far west as Dufferin, as far east as Yonge Street, as far north as Bloor, and down to the water. One bedroom, so no studio units, no one bedroom plus dens, between 500 and 599 square feet, and no parking. Using those criteria, the average sale price was just under $574,000. But I'm going to go ahead and round that up to $575,000 just to give us a nice round number. The average yearly property taxes were just over $2,200, and the average monthly maintenance fees were just over $430. I used the same criteria and I took a look at all rentals in April 2024, and the average price was just under $2,350 a month. So those are the numbers that we're going to work with as we go forward and we compare these two different scenarios. You've got four primary upfront costs when you're buying a condo. And we're going to assume here that you're a first-time buyer and that you're putting down the minimum down payment required. So number one, your down payment. Number two, land transfer taxes. Number three, lawyer fees. And number four, PST on mortgage insurance. So for the down payment, that would be 5% on the first $500,000 of your purchase, which would amount to $25,000. And then 10% on the amount between $500,000 and $1 million. So in this case, that would be another $7,500. So that's a total down payment of $32,500. So the land transfer taxes on a $575,000 purchase would typically be $7,975 for the provincial tax, and then another $7,975 for the municipal tax. So that's a total of $15,950. But because you're a first-time buyer, you're going to be receiving a rebate of $8,475, which would bring your tax total to just $7,475. Now, the lawyer fees on a $575,000 purchase would amount to approximately $2,500. This includes legal costs, disbursements, government registration and search fees, and title insurance premiums. And then there's a provincial sales tax on mortgage insurance. So whenever your down payment is less than 20%, you need to obtain mortgage default insurance. On a $575,000 purchase, after the minimum down payment of $32,500, you're left with a mortgage of $542,500. Now, the cost to insure that mortgage is going to be $21,700. Now, the good news is that this insurance is not an upfront cost. So instead, it gets added onto your mortgage amount. However, you do have to pay PST on that mortgage insurance, which in this case would be $1,736. And that cannot be added to your mortgage. You need to pay it up front. So let's recap. $32,500 for the down payment, plus $7,475 for the land transfer taxes, plus $2,500 for the lawyer fees, plus $1,736 for the PST on the mortgage insurance. So your total there is $44,211. When you rent a condo, the only upfront cost you really need to cover is your first and last month's rent, which in this case would be $4,700. So in this particular scenario, your upfront costs when buying are going to be 9 times what they would be if you were just renting instead. And this obviously is one of the major roadblocks that a lot of would-be first-time buyers face, right? The ability to save up all of those upfront costs. $44,000 is not a small amount of money. Okay, so moving on to the ongoing monthly costs. So you have 5 primary ongoing monthly costs when you own a condo. Number 1, mortgage payment. Number 2, your property taxes. Number 3, your maintenance fees. Number 4, insurance. And number 5, utilities. We'll start with mortgage payment. At the time of shooting this video, fixed mortgage rates are hovering at around 4.8 to 5.2%. So for the purpose of our comparison here, I'm just going to use a 5% interest rate. And we'll go with an amortization of 25 years, and we'll go with monthly payments. So your monthly mortgage payment would be $3,281. The average yearly property taxes were $2,200, which would be around $183 a month. The average monthly maintenance fees were around $430. The number I'm going to use for monthly home insurance for a one-bedroom condo is $40. Some condo buildings in the city of Toronto, typically older buildings, actually include all of the utilities in the monthly maintenance fees. And then there are some buildings where none of the utilities are included. But more often than not, what we see is hydro being the one utility that is not included in the monthly maintenance fees. The monthly hydro bill for a 1-bedroom condo can vary depending on the size of the unit, the age of the building, etc. But the number I'm going to use is $70 a month. So let's recap. $3,281 for the monthly mortgage payment, plus $183 for the monthly property taxes, plus $430 for the monthly maintenance fees, plus $40 for the monthly insurance, $70 for monthly utilities. That comes out to $4,004. When you rent a condo, the ongoing monthly costs are $2,350 for the rent, plus $40 for the monthly tenant's insurance, plus $70 for the monthly utilities, equals $2,460. So $4,004 to own, $2,460 to rent. It's going to cost you an extra $1,544 per month to own the condo. Now that we have our basic numbers sorted out, let's take a look at what your financial position would be after 5 years. So why 5 years? Well, that's the length of time that we typically advise our clients to have in mind when they're buying a property. And just a quick note here, I'm sticking with the same monthly numbers for the entire 5 years. So I'm not increasing the rent, but I'm also not increasing the monthly maintenance fees or the property taxes. And I'm doing this to keep things simple. So after 5 years of renting, you'll have paid a total of $141,000 in rent, plus $2,400 in insurance, plus $4,200 in utilities, for a total of $147,600. After 5 years of owning, you'll have paid a total of $196,885 in mortgage payments, plus $11,000 in property taxes, plus $25,800 in maintenance fees, plus $2,400 insurance, plus $4,200 in utilities, for a total of $240,285. Now, the differential between the cost of owning versus the cost of renting would be $92,685. So you spent almost $93,000 more over the course of those 5 years to own the condo. But, and here's the big but when you're talking about buying versus renting. With renting, all of the money that you've spent is gone. With owning, you're going to retain some of the money that you've spent in the form of equity because you've been paying down your mortgage balance. So of that $196,885 in mortgage payments, $132,044 is interest, but $64,841 is principal. And at the end of the 5 years, your mortgage balance is now $499,359. But there's also the equity that you've gained from the property increasing in value. So over the past 40 years, the average yearly increase in Toronto residential real estate values has been somewhere between 6 and 7%. Some years it's more than that, some years it's less than that, but overall, the average is between 6 and 7% per year. So let's be conservative here and let's assume just a 3% annual increase in value. So after 5 years, your $575,000 condo would have gained $91,583 in value. So the new value would be $666,583. Now your total equity with mortgage principal paydown and value increase would be $167,224. Not bad at all. But remember, you spent some money to get to that point, right? You spent $92,685 more over the course of those 5 years to own than if you had just been renting. And when you first bought the condo, you gave a down payment of $32,500. You paid $7,475 in land transfer taxes, $2,500 in lawyer fees, and $1,736 in PST on mortgage insurance. So your total equity is $167,424, but your actual return on the money you've invested is $30,328. All right, so what if we were to be a bit more optimistic and we assume a 5% yearly increase in value? Now, after 5 years, your $575,000 condo would have gained $158,862 in value. So the new value would be $733,862. Your total equity with mortgage principal paydown and value increase would be $234,503. And now your return on the money you've invested is $97,607. With all of that said, owning isn't necessarily the best option for everyone. If you're someone who's in a stage in your life where you want or need to have the freedom to move around and not be tied to any one particular property long term, then renting might be the better choice for you. And you could look at this and say, okay, what if I were to just rent and take all of that extra money that I otherwise would have spent on owning and invest it elsewhere? And that's a fair question, right? I mean, depending on what the investment is, that could actually be the better path forward for you. But let's be honest, not everyone has the discipline it takes to save up that capital to make the initial investment. And not everyone has the discipline it takes to continue to contribute to their investment month after month after month. So in my opinion, one of the best things about real estate is that it gives you structure. It gives you a path forward when it comes to investing your money. You start out with the very clear goal of having to save for your down payment and your closing costs. And then after you buy, you're forced to make monthly contributions to your investment in the form of mortgage principal paydown. So buying a condo forces that discipline on some people who might not otherwise have it. Not to mention some of the pros that come along with owning, right? Like if you're someone who is in a stage in their life where they want more stability and a more stable home, then owning is potentially going to be a better option for you. You're not going to get an email from your landlord saying, hey, we're selling the property. There's a good chance here that you're going to have to move out and find a new rental. My hope here is that this video has given you some food for thought and can maybe help you make your decision about whether or not buying or renting is going to be the best option for you. If you'd like some help along that path, give me a shout using that first link down in the description, and we can create an action plan to help get you where you want to go. That's it for now, and I'll see you next time.